Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Salman. I'm a tech product and innovation expert based out of Bangkok, and I'm currently in the middle of reinventing my life. In this channel, I talk about personal transformation and how you, as a student or young professional, can accelerate your learning for a better future. And today, I'm going to talk about my investment portfolio of the year 2021, how I design it, and how you can also take a step at it to design your 2021 going forward. It's going to help you really unlock some of the tools and frameworks that I'll share that can help you prepare your future investment plan for a better life. As always, I'm going to keep all the timestamp in the description below, so feel free to jump into whichever the part you want to start first or come back in the future for any future reference. With that, let's dive into it. The goal of my channel is to really help you make it simpler and easier as you embark on your transformation journey. Whether you're actually even reinventing yourself or just taking on your journey in the early days of your life, my responsibility from this channel is to help you learn some of those beginner stages, challenges, the teething issues that we all face. It's how we can fast track and accelerate those processes so that you can focus on what's more important to you. What I will do is I will deconstruct those different stages that is really important for us to know first before we even talk about the last leg of the success story, which is often the 20% or the 10% of the story that we all share about. Whenever we hear successful people talking about their stories, we get really excited about hearing the last leg, the part where they have achieved the last mile of the story, and that gets us really excited. But what we don't hear is that 80% or the 90% of the work that actually was done prior to achieving that remaining 10% that led to their success. So I hope by the time I share with you my framework, you will not only have the framework, but also those pre-steps that are even more of a prerequisite in order to be successful and live a better life. Now, before I share with you my investment portfolio, it's really important that I walk you through the 4 pre-steps that I take before designing this particular portfolio. They are very important to me because they are the one that actually is more of a character building exercise, a more of a deep reflection, and also an intentional process of designing something. If I feel that I'm not being intentional about something that I'm trying to set as a future goal, I don't think it is easy for me to well achieve it. So it is all about focusing on an intentional process that really is going to set you up for success from the beginning, instead of only shooting a dot in the dark when you just don't know how you're going to be following through in the whole process. So the first step to designing this is to have a portfolio framework. Now, a portfolio framework to me is something that you want to draw in as an example of something that you are inspired by. To me, I took a great interest into this particular statement from a very early stage in life, and it has really served me well. And that statement is, you are sum average of the people you are surrounded by. Now, to me, that is a framework while I'm going to design my investment portfolio. Now, you might be asking, what does that even statement has to do with the investment portfolio designing? I'm going to walk you through. So it's basically, when you deconstruct this statement, you see it's not just a mere statement that's talking about the people around you or who you are surrounded by, but it actually has 2 parts to it: the fixed part and the variable part. To me, the variable in the statement is the people and the surrounded by. Now, if you keep changing the meaning or the words and the keywords in place of people and surrounded by, you will actually be able to come up with many sentences or statements, and you will be able to see how they apply in your life. So hold on to that, as I will also show you how this framework has helped me to better understand and clarify my framework as I went into designing it. The number 2 step is to have a portfolio strategy. Now, once you have a framework, it's really important to have a strategy that helps you stay laser focused into what you want to achieve. Without a strategy, you will get stuck midway and not know what you are actually trying to do with the overall portfolio. For me, the strategy is simple. It's diversification. But when I'm thinking about diversification, I'm thinking, is it just the only amount of money that I have and how am I going to diversify that? Or is it diversifying of all resources that I have in my total capacity, and then using it in the right way to make sure that I have the right portfolio designing for myself? The third step is to have a portfolio prioritization matrix. Now, once you have a framework and a strategy, if you don't know how you're going to be making your prioritization of the investments, then you will not be able to have the right blended flow of the right set of investments. And I feel that we often are deciding on any investment prioritization based on sometimes an ad hoc basis, or being very emotional about something in a spur of the moment, or sometimes just without any proper systems. For me, I do prioritization based on principle thinking. I have a set of principles in life when it comes to anything that I want to take a call on, and it is those principle thinking that helps me with my proven experiences take the same decision whenever I'm applying it for any new decision matrix or any new designing of a future long-term goal. And the last one is the way to measure it. If you don't know how to measure it, then you don't know where you're heading. So there are tons of ways to measure whatever you do. I measure with a very simple framework called OKR, Objective Key Results. I'm not going to cover it here. If you're interested to know more about it, please see this video of mine where I really walk you through as to how to set up your OKR and to really apply it not just in your business, but also in your personal life. Now that you have the 4 pre-steps to designing your investment portfolio, I'm going to share something very personal. So as I was also thinking about designing my investment portfolio, even in my early days in life, I always saw that I had so little money or as a wealth saved for myself. It was too difficult to even think, how do I even diversify that? And how do I even make investment decisions? That's going to be much of a big task itself. To me, it was too little to invest, and it was too big a task to really spend so much time into designing 4 pre-steps and then applying a long-term strategy. What I did then, I spent a little bit of time of one of those 4 pre-steps that gave me the whole world that I didn't see in the first glance. And that comes from the very statement of that you are a sum average of the people you are surrounded by. After deconstructing it, what I saw was that it literally embodies my whole life into it, which can be a way of using for my investment portfolio framework. Here's what I found when I actually use all the variables and turn this into different parts to it. Here it is. So the way I do this is that our career is the sum average of the few key strategic decisions we make in life. Our health is the sum average of the few key lifestyle choices we make in life. Our relationships are the sum average of the few key relationship principles we follow in life. Our personal growth is the sum average of the few key strategic framework we use in life. Our wealth is the sum average of the few key financial decisions we make in life. And our need to live a fulfilled life is the sum average of the few key acts of social giving, acts of social kindness that we perform in our life. Now that to me is quite a big opportunity landscape for me to decide how should I allocate my resources into investing. And that brings me to deciding what do I really have for me, for myself to put as my investment portfolio. Now with the 4 pre-steps clarified and how to apply and use them before even starting designing the portfolio, we need to understand where do we want to invest and what sorts of currency or resources that we have in our disposal for considering as a way to invest. I want to talk about something here now personal, which is in most cases, whenever we talk about investments or investment portfolios, we refer to our financial wealth and how we distribute that financial wealth into different buckets to decide on how do we want to create an ROI for them. How do we invest and continue to reinvest throughout our life to generate more income? But for me, our life is not a sum average of only the financial investments that we make and distribute throughout our life. Rather, it is a sum average of all the 6 things that I mentioned just now, which is our health, our wealth, our career, our relationship, our personal growth, and also how we are attaching ourselves, staying close to the community by giving back. To me, when I think about even for students or young professional in your early 20s, it is even more relevant because when I was in a university or as a student or young professional, I hardly have any money. I hardly have any savings whatsoever. And at that very time, if I were to only focus on investment portfolio for myself with the little that I had, then I probably wouldn't be able to have a lot of excitement to really plan my investments portfolio. What I did is that I really tried to see what is valuable to me and what of that value is transferable for me into generating more return from that particular investment of that value. And the way I do this is that I have money, which is a value for me directly present with me. Another value that I have is my time. The way I do this is that I identify the value of my time. So whether you're a student or a university student, you can always put a price tag to the amount of the value that you want to generate out of the time you put in somewhere. So let's say you work and you have an annual salary. Divide the annual salary with 52 weeks in a year, and then divide that n number with 40 hours per week, for example. And that gives you your hourly rate that you can consider as your value for that particular hour. And it can keep changing because you know how you want to measure yourself. But that's a good starting point. So once you have that, then you know when you're investing your money, you not only invest in your money, but you also have an additional investment vehicle, which is your time. And with the time investment, whenever you're allocating this time in any of the buckets, whether it's your health, your relationships, or your personal growth, whatever the journey it is, you'll know that what exactly is the value of the time that you're putting in, and you will also understand what is the opportunity cost of not using that hour for something else. Let me walk you through the blueprint, a sample blueprint from my life, and show you how do I put this 6 buckets into the 4 pillars that I mentioned as part of the complete blueprint picture. Let's say it's about work. So as far as the work is concerned, I invest 8 to 10 hours on average, sometimes it's much more than that, per day as part of my investment, which is actually more than 1/3 of my time in a day. Now, the reason I do this is because I have a clear mission, which I've also associated and well aligned with myself, is that I believe in empowering societies to what matters most through what I do on a daily basis. And it gives me a purpose, it gives me a sense of belonging to where I work. The way I measure it is the number of lives I get to change or the validation I receive because of my work. And the ROI or the reward I generate from this is that I get to level up as a human being, I get to become a better person. At the same time, I deliver successful projects in a new country or a new industry. And also the most important one is that I get to support my family with the income I generate for this time that I put in. Another example can be about my relationships. So relationships are very important. It's not just the relationship with your family, but also your friends, your mentors. To me, it is the number of hours that I put in my relationship that actually can dictate a lot about the quality of life that I will have. So for me, the mission here is to live with and among people who helps me become a better person. And the way I measure it is by the quality of time with family and friends and mentors that I get to give. And the ROI from this is a trusted support system that helps me navigate through the different times in life. Something I don't think any money can buy this if you really have quality friends, quality relatives, and quality family members, or even mentors in life who actually will be going a long way to helping you passing different situations in life that no one else can. Another example for me would be maybe giving back to the community. Now, I put in around 10 hours per week, as well as my financial savings into this particular piece. Whether I'm doing charity by giving money, by donating somewhere, or whether I'm actually creating this YouTube channel where I put in my own money to buy the equipments and trying to create quality videos for free for the people who might be able to take use of this and use it and apply in their own life, that can be a great mission to have. My mission here is to leave behind a positive footprint in the world by the time and the money that I invest in here. And the measure of this is to live a life of fulfillment. And I think that is probably very important to me. And the ROI from that is, in the process of doing this, I really find myself to be extremely grateful, and I learn to be more happy in the process. So that to me is a nutshell, a complete blueprint of what my financial investment can look like. And you can play with this, different buckets of investments, or the way you would like to apply the different matrix that I talked about, the investment, the mission, the measure, or the ROI, or the reward systems that you would like to capture. It is so important for us to really understand that we cannot have a goal in life without having a structure that helps drive it. At the same time, if you're not very intentional about our goals, then we can only have it as a goal, but we'll never be able to really do what is needed as our steps to really reach there. So congratulations, you're now finally equipped with my investment portfolio blueprint that can help you decide what are the key and most important things in life that you would like to invest in. How would you allocate your time and your resources that are available to you? How will you draw in energy from those different frameworks and tools that I've shown you here? And then how would you use this to define your career goals, your life goals, your investment goals with the proper investment blueprint model? I really want to hear from you. What do you think about this video? Did you think this is a model that you would like to apply? Is this a model that you've been thinking already? If you know of a better model, feel free to write down in the comment section so that I get to know and educate myself better as I also improve myself in making better investment decisions in my life. I would love for you to share this in the social media with hashtag myinvestmentportfolio2021. Tag me in any of the social media of your choice so that I can keep track of how you're progressing for accelerating your life into a better future. So with that, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please consider doing so. And if you'd also like to get curated emails from me where I talk about this kind of hacks, in addition to my daily and weekly finds and discoveries that I find to be very useful to share with my community, subscribe to my email newsletter. And until then, I'd see you in the next video. Bye-bye.